Hi, Rob.
Hi.
Two questions. First, the mood of the team heading even up now as you head to the weekend series. And number two, how much of a challenge will Joe Musgrove be against your lineup?
What was the first question again?
The mood of the team.
Oh, good. I think really good. We had a nice flight back last night. Talked to a lot of guys on the plane. Everybody's in good spirits. They're really looking forward to getting home in front of our own fans, and yeah, they're excited. And Musgrove. Look, Padres got a good rotation, and Musgrove's got good stuff. Got really good secondary pitches. We've had a little success against him this year, but he can always be tough, and he's been throwing the ball pretty well.
Up here in the front.
Rob, is there any thought to any kind of flexibility or change in your lineup for tomorrow night?
Yeah, so Veerling and Sosa won't play Marsh and Stott, but no. As far as the way we're lined up, no.
In the middle.
Rob, is there any chance, depending how the game goes tomorrow, that Zach Wheeler comes back for Game 4?
No chance. No.
Do you know who your Game 4 starter is going to be yet?
Not really. It depends on tomorrow, but you can figure it out. It's either going to be Syndergaard, Gibson, or Falter, I would think.
Paul.
Rob, with Ranger, obviously we're getting to the point in the year where a lot of guys are getting to innings totals they've never had before, but Ranger specifically, a reliever turned starter. Is there any concern there? Have you noticed anything with him, or obviously you've been monitoring all year, but have you seen anything with him innings-wise?
No, not really. And, I thought he was really good coming down the stretch. The start against Atlanta was not Ranger-esque, but, I think he was a little bit amped up because of the playoff game, but he'll be better tomorrow, and especially in front of our own fans. And I haven't really noticed anything with him that would say, he's getting tired. He's got too many innings on him. I think the crowd and the just the adrenaline of the situation will get him through right now.
And then obviously there's a lot to figure out between now and then, but the added wrinkle this year of no off day. Typically a Game 3 starter can start Game 7 or Game 4 on short rest. Is
Right.
Ranger an option on short rest if it ever came to that? Is he the type of guy you'd use there, or is that just going to be a figure it out if the time comes thing?
I think we figured it out at the time, but I think that he is a possibility. It doesn't mean that we're going to throw 100 pitches on him, but it might be a short start, a couple innings. But I think, most definitely. I think it'll be, if we get to a Game 7, it'll be all in.
And then just last question with Alvarado. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the ups and downs, but at what point did you realize he could be that high leverage guy again, or what have you seen from him that has made him so successful in those high leverage situations now?
He's been pitching so well for a long time. I can't really put a date on it, but coming down the stretch, there were a couple of boxes we wanted to check with Alvarado. One was that he could go up and down, so finish an inning and go back out. He did that. And then the other one was pitching in the ninth inning, and he did that. And he's been the same guy, whether he's pitching the seventh or ninth. So, complete trust in him wherever we put him.
Bryce.
Rob, there's been two completely different Josh Haders since he arrived in San Diego. Really struggled after the trade deadline, and in the last month and through the playoffs, he's been completely dominant. What do you see with this version? His velocity's up. There's just a lot of things that make him incredibly difficult to face lately.
Yeah, I didn't really see him when he was bad, so I can't really compare anything to it. But all I can say is that, we've had some of our own relievers that have had struggles during the course of the season. So I don't think it's not out of the ordinary. So he's had success in the past, and he's really throwing the ball right now very well with a lot of velocity. His secondary pitch is good, and he's throwing it for strikes. So that's probably the biggest difference, is he's throwing more strikes now than it was before with higher velocity.
Yeah, Rob, you got Gibson in for an inning yesterday. Falter hasn't pitched in, 2 weeks or so. And you didn't use Eflin the last couple of days. I don't know, are they all possibilities for longer amounts? And not having Falter pitch, does that concern you?
No, not really. So to answer the first question, yes, they can give us all multiple innings. Not sure if I'd do Eflin a third inning, but possibly, I guess. But he'd be more of a 1 or 2 inning guy. But it's difficult with long relievers in the playoffs to get them, 1, into a game, and 2, to get them any kind of work against hitters, because you have the off day today. We can take the guys that are taxi squad guys and have them face hitters if we wanted to, but you can't really do that with the guys that are on the roster because you might need them tomorrow. So what we do is we do heavy bullpens, that type of thing, where hitters are standing in. At least those guys can see hitters in the box against them.
Haven't been in these kind of series before, not here, but with the Yankees. Does that give you any advantage of how to use your pitchers, how things can work in a long series?
It all depends on how well they're pitching. So I don't know. We've been through it before. I've been through it before, but it is. It's just they got to go out there and pitch.
Lauren?
Yeah, Rob, you mentioned obviously your taxi squad guys getting some work in, and of course your long relievers who haven't been in so far this series. What's the plan for the rest of the squad? Are you requiring everyone to come here? Are you allowing guys just to do their own thing?
Today, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so today, because we got in late last night, we gave everybody the day off, but they do have the option to come in between 3 and 5, get treatment, get in the weight room, go out and play catch if they need to, get in the cages if they need to do some soft toss or some tee work or some machine work. So if they need to move around, they'll be in here.
But if they want to stay home, they can do that.
Yep.
Anna?
Hey, Rob, back here. Sorry.
Yep.
You're getting asked a lot about pitcher usage. On a big picture scale, we're seeing this postseason, starters are throwing more innings than they did in the past couple of years. It's sort of a reversal of the trend where bullpens factored more heavily into the postseason. The Phillies are, with Nola and Wheeler, are sort of an extreme example of that. I'm curious how you think that factors into your success, and then also what that lack of off day will look like. Will it benefit the bullpens more, sort of like if you have rested bullpens, or will it be back to the starters, I guess, to sort of hold down the fort?
Well, I think without the off day, I think it possibly taxes your bullpen a little bit more, because you got to go 5 days in a row potentially. So you really have to be diligent with how you use those guys and making sure that you're not overworking them where their stuff or their production goes down, and you put them at injury risk. So you got to be careful about that. I think Nolan and Wheeler have pitched so many innings just because they've pitched well, and as long as they're pitching well, they're gonna stay out there, because they're 2 aces really.
Do you think we just sort of hit the point of diminishing returns with having bullpens cover so many innings in the postseason, or is there like a philosophical reversal in baseball?
I don't know. I can just base it on us, and that is that our starters have pitched pretty well, and that's why they're going deep. If they're not pitching well, they're going to be out. So that's all I can base it on.
Back right.
Rob, when Bryce came back after his injury, I don't know if there was any kind of ill effect in terms of his swing, but all the extra games he now had to play, is he starting to kind of be more comfortable to like where he was toward the end of last year when he made that run toward the post? How did you guys make that run in the air? Is he kind of getting a swing back that way?
Yeah, I think so. And I think a lot of guys, when you see them come off the IL and they don't get many at bats in the minor leagues on a rehab assignment, I think that you'll see them possibly be very good early in their return, and then you'll see a decline because they're not in the same type of game shape that they were, and didn't get many at bats or many innings on defense in the rehab assignment. So you get tired, and there's some fatigue, and then there's changes in mechanics that could possibly happen, and then after a while, after they get back into game shape, so you'll see them take off. And I think that's where Bryce is at right now.
Rob, is there any advantage to having games 3 through 5 at home as opposed to 1, 2, 6, 7?
I guess, yeah. I mean, we went into San Diego and split. We were looking, especially in Game 2, we were looking to sweep. But, they did a nice job coming back. But I think for the most part, we did our job in San Diego, and now, we feel pretty good being home here for the next 3 games and in front of our own fans, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
John on the left.
Rob, with regards to the managing style with 5 games in a row versus what you might have done in the first 2 games, how much does it change now in terms of maybe handling your bullpen and your lineup and getting some of your bench in over a 5-game stretch potentially?
Position players, not so much. I think they're, all of these guys have gone at least 5 in a row, and even JT has gone 5 in a row over the course of the year. As far as the bullpen, I think you have to manage that a little bit. Like I said, you don't want to overwork guys, and so their production goes down, and you don't want to put them in harm's way as far as injury. So I think you do have to be cognizant of that.
Any last ones for Rob? All right, thanks for coming in. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ranger, could you just talk about, I'm sorry, over here, please. I'm sorry. Just the excitement for you to have this kind of start, first game of a home championship series game, and what's your approach to a team like San Diego?
La importancia de este juego, lo emocionado que estás. Vas a empezar este juego contra San Diego.
Sí, un juego de esta característica es bastante emocionante. Trataré de ser mejor de la última vez que lancé.
Yeah, a game like this is pretty exciting, and something that I have on my mind is to be better than last time.
Paul on the left.
Rangers, speaking of last time, it was 10 days ago, and before that 7 days. With the playoffs and not knowing when you're going to pitch, how has the between starts routine and that stuff changed for you?
¿Cómo ha sido tu rutina, pues sabiendo que estuviste tanto tiempo sin lanzar, no sabías cuándo ibas a lanzar, qué situación te iba a tocar, cómo estás preparado tú, cómo ha sido tu rutina?
No, como siempre, obviamente fueron 10 días sin lanzar, pero me enfoqué como si fuera hecho una salida normal, como si fueran 5 días de normalmente como lo hago siempre.
I mean, like always, really. I know it was like 10 days I didn't pitch, but I focus like I pitch as I would have done in a regular season game.
Then we're over 30 starts now this year. Could that extra rest benefit you for tomorrow and feel stronger going into the game?
¿Sientes que eso te va a beneficiar a ti, estar más descansado un poco, pues ya son más de 30 salidas que has tenido?
Sí, me siento bastante fuerte. Nada, mañana tratar de ser mejor que la salida anterior y ayudar al equipo a ganar.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel pretty strong. I feel fresh. And like I said before, all I want to do tomorrow is be better than my last time out. I really want to help this team win.
Lauren?
Yeah, you just keep mentioning being better than your last time out. What did you learn from that start?
¿Qué sientes tú que aprendiste de la última salida? Porque sigues mencionando que quieres ser mejor.
Sí, atacar a los bateadores, no irme a tantas cuentas profundas, y creo que eso me ayudará a estar más en el juego.
I really want to attack hitters early in the count. I don't want to go deep in counts. I think that's really going to help my game tomorrow.
I don't know if this is kind of the same question, but can you pinpoint exactly why you've been scuffling the last couple of starts? Anything that whether it's fatigue or just bad location, anything?
¿Qué sientes tú que te ha afectado a ti las últimas salidas, o mejor dicho, la última salida? Puede ser la ubicación de los picheos.
Sí, eso, la ubicación de los lanzamientos. No he tenido buen control, y creo que estos 10 días de descanso me han ayudado bastante, y espero que mañana se note.
I think it's been pitch location has been a problem for me, especially that last start. Lack of control of the strike zone. But I think that the good rest that I've had this last few days is going to help me for tomorrow.
Second row on the left.
I know the Padres weren't the team they are now, but you pitched, well, I think you pitched a shutout, or as long as you were out there last time. What can you take from that? Just building on it, and just how does that help your frame of mind going in?
Él sabe que los Padres no son el mismo equipo al que tú te enfrentaste antes, que lanzaste súper bien, no permitiste carrera. ¿Qué has aprendido tú, qué aprendiste tú de ese momento? ¿Cómo crees tú que te va a ir ahora?
Sí, en aquel, obviamente, cuando le lancé a ellos allá, no tenían, ¿me entiendes? No tenían clase a Soto, no tenían a Machado, a Bell, pero creo que eso ya, o sea, quiero atacarlo y a ver qué sucede mañana.
Yeah, like you said, like you said in your question, they were not the same team as they are now. They didn't have Soto, they didn't have Machado, Bell wasn't there either. So my plan tomorrow is to attack them, just attack the strike zone.
Any others for Ranger? Paul?
Ranger, with this being the first of potentially 5 games in 5 days, maybe a bullpen game in Game 4, how important is it for you to go deep into the game tomorrow?
Sí, que es importante para ti ir mañana, ¿sabes? Bien profundo en el juego, sabiendo que el juego 4 puede ser un juego del bullpen.
Sí, eso es lo que estoy enfocado mañana y los innings que yo pueda lanzar mañana creo que van a ayudar bastante al equipo.
Yeah, that's really what I'm focused on tomorrow. I just want to go, as deep as possible in the game, because I think that the more I pitch, the more I'm going to save the bullpen for the next day.
Okay, thanks, Ranger. We'll see you tomorrow.